This is FNX.
Do you look at sandwiches that way too?
I love sandwiches.
Fuck yeah, man. How many people like Jimmy John's? I love Jimmy John's. This shit is great. I like how fucking crazy fast they are. They're not fast? Why is it when I call them, they're there in like 2 seconds? Must be because I, like advertise for on stage or something. I call them and they're like, I don't even get through my order. I'm like, hello, and they're like, where the fuck are you at, Aaron? We got the sandwich. I'm like, I'm trying to jerk off. Leave me alone. You figure you got 2 minutes, but.
Cause it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
I need money.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome. I like that.
I do. I like it. It makes me feel good inside. Welcome, bitches, back to the Broke Ass Podcast. I'm your, I suppose, host for this one. I'm the Double A Ron.
I'm Shithead Dave.
Big man Thor, age 13.
Hydros.
What's going on? We got a lot of shit to talk about today. First and foremost, babies are almost here.
4 days.
Yeah,
4 days.
4
4 days, and
Gonna have those twins.
4 days in Shithead here. We'll have beautiful twin baby girls.
Thorina and Thoronda.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, Thorina and Thoronda will be here
Yeah.
very soon.
If they look anything like me, they won't be beautiful girls.
No. They will be atrocious looking females. Let's hope they get their looks from Angela.
I just hope they don't look like the mailman.
Yeah. Please God, let them be white. Just one of those things.
You ever seen that college humor thing, the 2 Tetris pieces?
Yeah. So we're gonna start off the podcast. Since we started off with saying first and foremost the babies, why don't we start off with that?
Okay. I'm having babies.
Alright. If you didn't know that already, I'll explain to them what we're going to be doing because of that.
Oh, the park rangers?
Mm-hmm.
Like the day of?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, we're in the middle of a series called Park Rangers. And
For those of you who are frequent viewers of that show and
Yeah.
have been wondering what the fuck's going on,
Yeah.
we do apologize, but we kind of, due to certain members of the cast quitting on us in the last minute, also due to what I can only say is motivational differences. I can't say creative because it's not a creative difference. But due to motivational differences and the fact that we are so blurry right now and out of focus on that camera, it's not even funny.
It's got a nice gloss over it.
That's really bad.
Yeah, you fix it in post.
Yeah.
Can you fix that in post?
No.
Because there's no fixing that. Not with the... Figure out what the fuck's going on with that.
Turn off autofocus.
Well, that was Dave's hand.
What the fuck is going on?
Oh my god.
No, you want the autofocus. We're gonna have to redo all of that. I don't know when that started.
No, we'll just, we're the broke ass. We'll
Yeah,
cut it right when I said that and just like, we're back.
Do we want autofocus since the camera is stationary?
I don't know.
It was probably like focusing on that cup since it was like so close. So we was all unfocused.
Let's all put our cups in that corner.
That was fucking crazy.
Do we want to restart this? Or
No, I think we should just keep going.
Yeah, just keep going. Keep going. Keep
I
going.
don't like that.
That's
Keep going.
going for great podcasting. Our audio listeners will have no idea what happened.
audio listeners.
We do have those on FNX.
I don't like it.
I
Do we have,
can
do we have a,
slice
do we
and
have
cut shit
a,
out all the time.
do we have a mailbag to go to?
Not on
think we
FNX, but actually YouTube.
Do we?
You guys didn't do YouTube last time.
Yeah, I did.
You guys did FNX.
No, I went to YouTube. We had like one question.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Unless we've got more now.
I don't know.
But anyway,
check.
Due to, like I was saying, due to motivational differences, etc., we have a lot of changes coming in park rangers.
Let's
But
just
due to casting issues, we kind of wrote ourselves into a corner here. So we are literally waiting on our Summer Davis to literally have the kids before we can finish the rest of the episode.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. Let's just say Park Rangers is nothing like we wanted it to be.
No,
We're happy
the whole,
with it.
I'm happy with the product, but the whole show is actually
We've been forced to rewrite.
so different than our original
Yeah.
like view and scope of what the show was supposed to be.
Sometimes
The
that
only
happens.
thing that's like Ranger Rick is who he's supposed to be. Big Bass is there. Those are the only two things that are supposed to be right now.
Yeah. Well, okay, we had an actress lined up, or I use that loosely, but we had somebody, a female, lined up to be Summer Davis, and last minute, like the night before, she said she didn't want to do
Literally the night before we were gonna shoot.
it. She canceled, so we tried to get everybody.
Yeah, we sent a couple of calls out. We sent our feelers out, and nobody
And
responded.
my wife was like, "It's gonna be pretty far fetched, but I could do it, but I'm 8 months pregnant."
Right.
Assassinate me. Yeah.
Instead of
Assassinate me
doing a
anytime.
story around it and then her having the kids and having to do a baby bump once she loses the baby weight, we're just like, why don't we just add the pregnancy
Right.
into the whole storyline? So that's what we're kind of stuck on. We have an induced date, which is in 4 days, so we'll finally get that done.
Get it done.
And then after that, Summer's going to be written out of the story,
Right.
and for the time being, and we can continue on another story arc of Park Rangers.
Check that
Well,
shit out.
About 10 minutes in, we still haven't talked about the thing that we really wanted to talk about.
Well, we'll get to it.
So-
We want to get everything else out of the way.
Well, I understand that.
We have a formula, Jesse. We've been doing this for a little while now. Let us go. Let's get through shit. Actually, speaking of things like that, though, this is a first for the BAPM. This is a 4-person podcast. We've never
Yeah.
done this shit before.
Yeah, first time Thor's been on the Broadcast podcast.
Yeah.
You were on
Yeah.
an audio
Oh.
back in the day.
Okay.
You kinda should-
No, we've never had a
Back in the
4-person
day.
podcast.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
Back a whole 2 months ago.
Hey, which was a Wednesday,
Yeah. it
to
was.
quote Dane Cook. And you won't hear me quote Dane Cook very often because you stole jokes. You need to admit that shit now. I know you kind of did it on the show, Louie. You need to just admit it. Because I'll admit, when I first heard the Dane Cook stuff, I was a huge fan.
Yeah. Oh, so was I.
But then I discovered Louis C.K. and I listened to, I believe it was Louis C.K. live in Houston. If you listen to Louis C.K. live in Houston, and then you listen to, I think it's Dane Cook, Harmful Swallowed,
Yeah.
they're carbon copies.
I'm so glad they
It's
worked together
like
on Louie, though.
Just
That was
yeah, it was a
But
it was a great bridging the gap of two comedians that people think hate each other. When the fact of the matter is they don't hate each other at all. Like even Louis C.K. Like in the show, Louis he even said he said that Dane Cook is a rocket ship,
I think,
and as he was going up, things just kind of got sucked in.
if you're a
and that's
good
what-
enough
but-
comedian, you can say, you can have that, I'll make it my own shit.
Well, the thing
You know?
about that is though, is it's like if he would have just admitted it.
Yeah.
If he would have just said, "Yeah, I saw the show and I took inspiration from the jokes," because they're not exactly the same,
Yeah.
but they are. They're you stole jokes,
principles.
motherfucker.
It's hard.
You were funny until you decided not to admit it.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
would have just fucking admitted it, your career wouldn't have had to do that isolated incident shit that you gave us on TV in what 2000? What was that? Like 8, 9, whatever year, or maybe it was 11. I don't know. Whatever year you gave us an isolated incident, you need to like travel back in time and beat the shit out of yourself for that one. First of all, second of all, you cocksucker, fucking just admit it. Admit you stole that shit, and then you can move on with your life. But until then, nobody's gonna like you.
But, like, that's with everything, really. Like, when you're young, like, you got into Dane Cook, and then you discovered what better comics. Same thing with me, like, punk
Well, what
rock.
pisses me off is that he's not a bad comic.
No.
Dane Cook's actually a
But
really
then-
good
but
comedian.
you learned. But
He's
same
got
thing,
one of the best deliveries. He takes you.
He's very physical.
He
comedian.
well, it's fuck the physical part. Like, cause
Well, that's
I
what
listened to it.
happens.
I listened to it on CD, and he takes you on a real journey.
Yeah.
Like his voice is, and the way he delivers certain words and things, you can see it.
Mhm.
So he's a fantastic comedian. He just he's a dick.
Yeah. Well, same thing.
Really
with me,
what
like,
it
when
is.
I got into
Yeah.
like, punk rock and shit, it's like I was like, I love punk rock. I love Good Charlotte. And then I discovered punk rock. You know, it's
Right, then you discovered real
it's like,
punk rock.
oh, okay. Well, I was like 12 at the time.
No.
Same thing with Dane Cook.
Right.
It's like, I love comedy. It's
Like
so
Limp
funny. Then you
Bizkit?
discovered people that, you know, can really get it.
Well, see, like, he's never been my favorite. It's not like that when I first got into comedy, it was like, oh, Dane Cook. George Carlin's always been the king.
Yeah.
Like, always.
Was you one of those fans that like Limp Bizkit and then yelled that I love metal?
No. I was not in the middle. That was sort of before my time. Like,
Oh
that
my
was
gosh.
kids in, like, high school.
Limp
when I
Bizkit was just...
Like, I was in grade school, I think, when Limp Bizkit came out.
That's not bull.
I just remember Limp Bizkit. I just remember being in middle school, and everybody walking around, and they started walking around with like the bigger shorts that sagged, with the red shirts and the fucking baseball caps, and everybody thought that was tough. And back then, I'm like, yeah, there's this band called Metallica that's been around for a while now.
Bizkit had the they had the Insane Clown Posse vibe where you would put your headphones on at home and like, yeah, this shit's angry. Like, I do love Limp Bizkit, and then you would never admit it to anybody.
No, like, see, I openly listened. Yeah, but I openly listened. But I mean, like, there's a reason that, like, the biggest, like, in my experience, especially with being a wrestling fan, like, there's a reason that your biggest, like, success came from when Undertaker used your song when he was rolling down the ring. It's a tough sounding song, but that's it. It's tough sounding. Like, nobody looks at Fred Durst and goes, man, that guy might kick my ass. People look at him and they're like, fuck this
Why
guy.
did Undertaker use a Metallica song?
Big chunk of his career.
I'm talking about Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit.
Oh,
He used rolling.
Yeah, he
I
was
was gonna say,
rolling.
what?
Yeah. No,
Sting
Metallica
used
would-
Seek and Destroy for a little while.
Yeah, in 2000. Yeah.
Nice to see him back, by the way. Even if it was fleeting.
Brock Lesnar finally showed his face on Raw. That was nice. He came and F5 Chris Jericho.
Speaking of Sting, though, we were like, where the hell would he fit in? They're probably just gonna stick him with Triple H because he doesn't fit in. First
Sting
night
does
in,
not.
right.
Sting does not fit in the WWE.
No, but the first night in, put him with Triple H, so we were right. He doesn't fit in, so you're just gonna put him with Triple H. That was never a dream match ever.
I tell you what, if they wouldn't have fucked it up by having him lose to Lesnar, Taker Sting was the match that everybody wanted to see, because Taker and Sting are the same guy. They are the workhorses / ultimate company guy for their respective
I think
companies.
Sting knows he fucked that up. He knows it, and he's not gonna apologize.
What do you mean?
Because they've been trying for years to get Sting and Taker. Even they did that vignette, remember, with the rain. So I think Sting knows he screwed it up.
No, he knows.
Because Taker's done.
He's too smart of a businessman, and he's been in the business too long to know that he missed an opportunity. He knows he missed an opportunity.
Right.
But see, the thing is like Undertaker. I guarantee Undertaker doesn't view it as a missed opportunity because Undertaker. It doesn't matter who he works with.
No. He had a great
And
career.
the fact that he worked with Lesnar. Because, like, that was an Undertaker decision. I know that Undertaker made that decision.
Yeah,
Or at least had a big
Well, I mean,
thing in it.
there are
only
some
man
theories.
that makes sense.
There are some theories being thrown around that Lesnar rewrote the script, or you know, it was changed last minute
It
or
was
something like
Vince's.
that.
Vince came out on the podcast on the Istanbul podcast and said it was my idea. I'll take full credit for
really?
it. I went to Taker and he's like, "You're right. The only person that could beat me and be believable is Lesnar." But anyways, like I'm tired.
Even
of, like,
then, it's not
WWE.
really believable.
I would have rather seen Michaels do it.
I'm tired of WWE telling me what, like, the fans have always wanted. Like, no fan has ever wanted Triple H versus Sting.
The fans didn't want Undertaker to be beaten.
No. But
Undertaker being beaten is Vince McMahon holding on to an archaic line of thinking in that in order to pass the torch you have to lose. Undertaker passed the torch 5 years ago. He just kept stealing the show at WrestleMania. Yeah. He left the rest of the year alone. He didn't show up at SummerSlam. He didn't show up at the Royal Rumble. Didn't show up on any of that shit. But he just kept stealing the show at WrestleMania.
Honestly, I think going to the American Badass was him stepping down to give the reins to Triple H because he wasn't the female.
Oh, it definitely was.
Yeah, he just became.
I mean, a lot of people look at it. A lot of people look at it as he evolved with the business.
Well,
and he did. He evolved. He did evolve. He did evolve with the business.
Yeah,
but I don't feel as if he really gave that character his all. He had some great matches, don't get me wrong.
No, they put him on SmackDown, you know.
But yeah, he was. I mean, but that's all. I have a real, like, and of course I'm not there, and I wasn't there. I don't know. But I have a real gut feeling that Triple H is the worst human being walking the planet.
You don't feel that way?
No, I feel that way. I have this just... I love Triple H. I'm a huge mark for the guy, and I was back then. I always have been. Even when he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley, his talent level and his ability level made me like him.
Triple H is really
Hated that character, but he's awesome.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I don't feel like Triple H's caliber. He was not the caliber of superstar to have the title as long as he did and as many times as he did in that block of time. There were other people. People got fucked over and held down because of Triple H, and a lot of people have that gripe about Cena today.
Yeah,
like, you know, like we're tired of Cena being champion. Well, look at what Triple H was doing right before Cena came onto the scene.
You know, we wouldn't have Cena if Lesnar didn't split. We
Right.
have Cena, but you know, Lesnar was the guy. You could tell. He was
Well,
the
see,
next
the
big
thing about
thing.
Brock Lesnar
It
is
fumbled.
the thing about Brock Lesnar is that
He
he's
doesn't care
legit.
about but he doesn't. I mean, a lot of people say he doesn't care about the company.
He doesn't. He doesn't.
He
Brock
doesn't.
Lesnar cares about Brock Lesnar.
He
That's
doesn't
all he
care
fucking
about
cares about.
UFC either. He just cares
Exactly.
about being on his ranch.
Exactly.
He cares about Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
He doesn't give a fuck about the company in
He cares
UFC, but
about
he
the
cares
product.
about being the world champion
Yeah.
because
That puts money in.
He's a title collector.
it's more than money, though. Brock Lesnar is just like when people call him a Neanderthal, it's because he's a schoolyard bully who never grew up.
He's
grew
not
up,
on
is what it
TV.
seems like.
You won't be able to track him
Yeah.
down. He goes in hiding. He goes up to Minnesota.
But that I completely respect. Though.
Yeah,
The
that's
dude
cool.
likes his privacy.
Mhm.
You know what? Leave him the fuck alone.
And he comes back to win a world title, and he goes away.
Right.
Right.
He's legitimate.
Yeah.
He's a legitimate.
Yeah.
He actually went out into the world of real fighting.
He's a legit. No, it's before that. He was legit.
He was a
He was a
high
six.
school wrestler.
He was a he. All right, so he was an All-American in high school, All-American in college, two-time. I believe it was two-time NCAA champion, or it was one time. I know he was an NCAA champion.
the most athletic, big or super heavyweight.
6
Was he?
foot. This dude is.
Wrestling?
This dude is what 6'6" or something like that. 6'7", 6'8", whatever he is. But he's this massive 300-pounder that could move with the speed of a cruiserweight. And he was the most explosive dude anybody's ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't know about the
He was
most
shooting
I
star
don't-
press.
I don't know about the most athletic, but definitely for his
I
size.
don't know.
I'll say
The
Undertaker.
only
could
person
give
his
that a run for
size
money.
was like Ahmed Johnson, and he was a klutz.
Right.
He's the only man who could do a shooting star press at that size.
I won't
And
say
even
that
though-
though because you never know what the indies looked like back then.
Well,
Nobody paid attention.
But like, even though he botched that, no one would have got that. That was too far out.
Well, the fact that
Angle was too far
the
out.
fact that he got the fuck up and finished that match.
Yeah, he was not there.
Back then, like, and before that, you were taught that if something like that happens, you win the match. Fuck the finish and what it's supposed to
It's
be
up
like.
to the writers. to
Brock
fix
said,
that.
"Fuck
Yeah,
that." Brock
yeah.
said, "Fuck that."
It's WrestleMania.
He
This
got
is
up.
really
He
WrestleMania
got up and he
design.
F5'd the shit out of Kurt Angle.
It looked terrible. You could
But
tell that it wasn't supposed to happen. But
He was a legitimate, like, okay, and that's not taking anything away from any of the wrestlers. Dolph Ziggler was an accomplished amateur wrestler. You know, he was
I love
at
where
Kent
he is
State.
now.
At Kent State, I believe he still holds the records there.
Oh,
Shelton Benjamin was an All-American. Jack Swagger was an All-American at Oklahoma, which is a big wrestling school.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like they screwed Jack Swagger out.
yeah, they have. But that's a whole nother thing.
that's a whole new story.
Yeah.
But
They screwed everybody.
Lesnar-
else's title.
Lesnar's ability and his size and his intensity and his in-ring ability, his the only thing he lacked is mic skills, but they gave him Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
When you have all of the tools and abilities that Brock Lesnar has, and when you get into the WWE and they give you Paul Heyman, who's a master on the mic.
Yeah.
How the fuck can you fail?
Well, I mean, they finally remembered what a manager's used for.
Right.
Because they.
But it's
for a while,
crazy
they
to me.
It was eye candy.
Right. It's crazy to me that like he came back after all those years in the UFC, and it was just like, yeah, like he's that good.
Yeah.
But he brings real legitimacy. Like Kurt Angle brings legitimacy, but he's not Brock Lesnar. He's an Olympic gold medal winner. You know, he represented the country. He won a gold medal off a broken neck. You can't teach that kind of toughness. But you know that in a wrestling match between him and Lesnar, Lesnar's schooling that motherfucker. Because that's just what Lesnar is.
Speaking of UFC, I still think this CM Punk thing is a work. Still. Because, hear me out here, he's going to the UFC, second WWE wrestler in recent years to go to UFC. He's probably going to be back, because everyone comes back. And he did that podcast with Colt Cabana. The only time a wrestler's went on the internet and bashed WWE and made Vince McMahon come out of hiding and talk. Vince McMahon doesn't need to do that. It's an angle. I know it's an angle. And I wouldn't be surprised if they take a gamble on UFC's legitimacy and someone takes a dive for Punk or something to build him up for Mania. That's a stretch, but I think that's going to happen.
Well, I really hope before they do that Punk gets his match with Jason David Frank.
Well, I don't even think that's a thing. I think this is still an angle. He's not going to.
The biggest reason
they're going to give him some schmuck to take a dive.
I had the same theory for a little while.
He's still in the video games. He's still.
I had the same theory for a little while. I really did. I was thinking, it's still a work. I guarantee you, this is not he didn't actually sign with the UFC, or if he did it on a temporary basis. He'll be back. He'll be back in the WWE. There's no fucking way he's not coming back.
Yeah.
He'll realize, because, I like CM Punk. I like him as from what I've read and whatnot. Like I said, I haven't met the guy. From what I've read, like, him being an asshole because I know he's an asshole, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't make you a bad person. I think he's a good person. I like CM Punk as a wrestler. I like him as a person.
He protects his
However,
shit.
Show your ass and such.
That being said, you're going to get your ass kicked in the UFC.
Right.
You're not a fighter.
Yeah.
And it's very evident by the way he wrestled. Dude, like, all right, so you know how some people, they look like a legitimate tough guy in the ring. CM Punk's supposed to be this guy who's like, he's supposed to be disciplined and it's like, but his shit was the softest shit I've ever seen. Like, first of all, he should never have, the GTS is the stupidest finisher I've ever seen somebody do. Because Stone Cold, I was listening to his podcast, Stone Cold said that a finishing maneuver, like the best finishing maneuvers are the ones that people do that no matter how much somebody weighs or how big they are, tall they are, small they are, whatever, anybody can take it. When in WrestleMania, when he did the GTS to Undertaker, and Undertaker, all he did was bounce off the ropes.
Yeah.
Like when he no-sold the shit out of that. Like that's because CM Punk has no fucking business picking up a 6'10" dude, picking him up on his shoulders, setting him back down, not even throwing him in the air. If he'd have thrown him in the air and then like had him come down, that'd be a whole new thing. But he'd put him on his shoulder, and then he'd just put him back on their feet.
Yeah.
Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. But just like, in looking at how soft he is, now I understand it'll be a whole new animal in the UFC, or at least he should be. But just like, looking at how he wrestled and how soft he seems to be, how is he going to survive in an octagon cage where somebody is, like, because he's used to it being a work. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
like, how is it going to be?
Well, that's what I still think it's a work.
When somebody's beating the shit out of him.
I don't think it's a legitimate UFC career. Is it too crazy for me to think that? Because I'm a big conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
I think this is a gigantic, very top secret marketing ploy to get WWE back on top. I think Triple H finally said we need something to just
kickstart it.
Kayfabe's dead. We need.
So are you a believer? Are you a believer in the whole thing with Bret Hart was a work then?
No, that was real. But the thing is, like,
you ever heard that conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
Where the entire thing was a work?
Yeah, I don't believe that at all, because Bret was really jealous and pissed. But
I don't think you can.
Even CM Punk in his DVD, he's like, I love messing with internet marks. And this, like, if this comes out, if it is a work, then kudos to them in this age to keep that secret this long. But
Definitely.
I think they're gonna. I've said it since he left. They're gonna sell WrestleMania on CM Punk's return, and it's gonna be huge.
I think
Because Vince talked. Vince never talks. He don't care.
the thing of it is though, before they can really kick some life in the WWE, they gotta do something with.
Oh
Cena.
yeah.
They gotta do something with Cena.
Meanwhile,
that-
while this is going
because-
on, they got to get their shit
Well-
with their roster fixed out.
Yeah, well, then the thing is, I mean, Cena's probably the biggest culprit because no matter what they do to him, you know, people try. That's a recurring theme, and it's getting boring. You know, people try to corrupt him,
Yeah.
and he comes through. He's Super Cena. He needs to finally go heel,
I have
preferably before Punk comes back.
Yeah, I have a problem with Cena, but I also get that, and this is not right, but every time they try to shift the company to somebody else, they get cold feet. Every world champion.
It's
in
the
recent
Hogan complex.
Yeah, every recent champion, Swagger and or who else? Like, who's one that's like? been
Well, see,
forgotten?
here's the thing. Here's the thing about
Henry.
the world champion, the world title holders, whether it be the WWE Heavyweight Champion, the World Heavyweight Champion, or the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, whatever you want to say. The New Age guys they've given it to, they have, like, when Swagger was the champion, they turned him from this, like, spaz, geekoid fucking guy who'd just come out, shake his fucking head, and do a couple push-ups to this serious, like, you know, I was perfectly fine with that. But look at the opponents that Swagger went up against when he was a world champion.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how the fuck was that supposed to work? Yeah. When Dolph Ziggler was world champion, he was having 5-star matches and they took it from him. How are you going to take somebody like Ziggler, you know, like Daniel Bryan, that's a fucking tragedy. He got hurt and we're in the state we are now because of it. That sucks. But like, why would you, when Ziggler was world champion, he was getting over as a heel, having 5-star matches with people like Edge, you know, things like that. He was having these phenomenal matches. Why would you take it from him? You know, like that's something I've never understood. Like, you know, Triple H, he said it when, you know, he said that the only person who can ruin you getting ahead in the business is you. That's not the truth.
Yeah.
Because when you're getting over and you're doing the things you need to do, but then you speak out against something you don't like in the back room and then you take their fucking title from them, that's not them fucking it up. That's you fucking it up. That's
Also,
the management fucking it
with
up.
the thing with John Cena, why he's been on top for so long, it's mainly circumstances. When Edge leaves, and CM Punk leaves, and Daniel Bryan's injured, and, you know, Undertaker leaves,
Right.
all you have left is Cena again.
Well,
You know?
and that, okay, that's the thing.
Michaels is gone.
The thing is, they wouldn't have that problem if they would build people like Orton up to a point where
Well,
they could
people
be.
are tired of Orton. I think more
Well,
than
I
Cena.
understand that, or okay, you know, taking Orton out of that equation. You know, even some people that are a little, you know, lower on the chain. Okay, Ziggler, yeah, he's pretty over right now, but if they could get him to see that point.
I agree, because the
You know.
whole reason Edge was so big in the last part of his career, he worked with Cena.
They're trying
Cena
they're
built
trying
him
to,
up.
well, they're trying to get Ryback, a little more into it.
Yeah.
You know, Bray Wyatt, he,
Well, first of all,
that would be
like,
cool.
we're gonna,
Wyatt is,
He's got the fan base.
if you're gonna talk to,
He's
if you're gonna
great on
talk
mic.
about, if you're gonna talk about people like Ryback though, you have to show that the WWE fucked him. Like, I'm tired of, I'm so tired of hearing people talk about how they don't like this person or they don't like this person because of something. It was like when WWE turned Ryback heel, they fucked him. They fucked him.
yeah.
He was getting over massively as a goddamn face. He should have beaten CM Punk. He should have done it. The reason that Punk feels so fucking entitled and everything now is because they let him beat Ryback. He should have never, like, okay, fine, you do the whole fiasco in the steel cage, like when they were in Hell in a Cell, fine. Rematch, you know, he should have steamrolled him.
Yeah.
And, you know, I understand, you know, like, if you do that, like if you have Ryback steamroll Punk, then it makes it look like the smaller guy can't win anymore, blah blah blah. But then it works then that works towards your angle with Daniel Bryan. Maybe you have Daniel Bryan beat Ryback. You know, skill can beat strength. Well, whatever. But I'm so tired of hearing people bitch about people like Swagger and Ryback and people like that when it's like, it's creative that fucks these people. Like, why would you make... It would have been like if they made Goldberg a heel.
Yeah.
It'd have never worked.
Well, I mean, Swagger's the same guy now as he was champion, but now I would really like him because of creative. I would really like the Big Hoss a champion more than when he was the champion. So you're right. It's like creative. That can really blur your vision up of a certain guy because they're just making him do stupid shit. You know, they fuck him up.
And I think
But Bray Wyatt will never.
But when he said Ryback, I heard your fucking your sigh.
I
I'm just
don't
like,
like Ryback because he looks like a jackass.
he looks like a jackass, but
That's what
the guy is, he plays his character. He's one of the best people at playing his character.
Oh, yeah.
He's a huge motherfucker who relies on strength, and that's all he has to do. Does that mean that the guy can't technically wrestle? No. It just means that WWE told him, you go out here and you be this big hulking monstrosity.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Brock Lesnar now. You think the Brock Lesnar of 2003 or 2002 would come out and wrestle Cena and German suplex him 16 times in a row?
Hell no.
No, he'd have wrestled him. And he would have taken Cena to school as a wrestler. But they don't want him to do that anymore. Which makes people like us bitch about the fact that he beat The Undertaker because it's not believable anymore. Because he came in and it wasn't even a match. You had him squash The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
You've seen Undertaker just slaughter and still win.
Right. But he didn't even stand a chance. Like, as shocked as everybody was, and I was shocked because maybe it was just one of those things where it was like, I had it in my mind that I had it in my mind that Vince and the business had enough respect for The Undertaker to leave his streak alone.
The thing is,
and I was wrong.
They made it look like The Undertaker was dying the past few years.
Yeah.
He's slowly dying. He's dead.
And that's the thing. No one ever, you see at the end of WrestleMania, the end of The Undertaker's matches, yeah, he's tired, yeah, he's, beaten up, to a pulp, but he's still standing. He's the phenom.
Every match
he's supernatural. At the end of that Lesnar match, people were still chanting his name. He looked like a frail old man.
Yeah.
And you're not used to seeing that.
But see, the timing, I'm fine with the
finish.
timing. I'm fine with the timing because
the timing is one thing,
done.
but it's that image.
But he was done.
Oh,
He was done
that.
3 years ago. His last match should have been WrestleMania 26 against Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Him and Shawn 2. Or whatever, 27 or whatever it was. That should have been it. Because
That was
in
26.
in the CM Punk match, he didn't look that good.
Right.
But
he was still standing. And it kind of put
in the
that,
Triple H matches, he didn't look that good.
Right. But that's the thing. Even when he doesn't look that good, that still puts that angle of he's the phenom. He can look that shitty, but he's still standing. Yeah. But when you just end a match and you just look like,
but you can't say he was still standing because after the second installment, him and Triple H, he couldn't even fucking walk back to the locker room. And then after the Hell in a Cell, after they beat the shit out of each other with chairs and whatnot, like all three of them had to help each other. Like Shawn Michaels didn't even wrestle, and he needed help back to the back.
That was planned. Like
regardless of
it's bullshit because like it's the dead man slowly dying, and every match got slower and more dramatic.
And it just got worse and worse.
We should probably change the subject after what you say, so Thor can have an opinion about.
Yeah, I think.
Well, he can have an opinion.
I think
he just doesn't talk.
I'm gonna say because I know a lot of people, people that do comment are gonna say this about the Cena thing. He also sells a lot.
Oh, he's a hell of a
After he won the...
I know, not I mean like
after Taker won his final win
he's
at
WrestleMania,
didn't he get taken out on a stretcher?
No, that was the one before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I wanted to talk about Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
You said Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
He'll never be world champion in this era. Because they're big.
No, he'll have to be when they usher in the new.
You can't have like the kids era and your world champion
Yeah.
cult leader. That's asking for too much trouble
Right.
in the corporate world. That's like
Yeah,
even though
that's what I was
even though
saying.
he's got the the buzzard and shit.
And that's what I was
all that,
saying.
yeah.
Corporate world.
That would be
Cena sells.
That would be like screaming pedophile.
And
for your
yeah,
company.
and plus you got Cena the role model, the kid.
That's brainwashing
you know.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so you're stuck in that. But
Yeah.
I think it's just.
You know what I find
circumstance.
hilarious though, is I find John Cena's angle, like the whole "I'll never change" angle, I find that so laughable, considering.
He's changed.
Like, well, it's like when you first came in. When you first came in, you looked like. I don't know. You looked like you were. At
Give
like.
him 2 shoes?
No, you look. He looked
He's
like.
Vanilla Ice.
He looked when he first
the
came in.
prototype.
I'm talking about the tiny little red shorts where it looked
prototype.
like he was going to like try out weigh-ins every day.
Yeah.
Where he came out and it was supposed to be quote unquote ruthless aggression.
Kurt
When
Angle
all you
imitation
were,
era, yeah.
all you were was just some jacked up dude who looked like he was on steroids coming out and punching people. Like that's what you were, and then you changed from that to all of a sudden now you're some freaking your
Vanilla
pants
Ice.
sag down to your freaking kneecaps, and you come out and you rap terribly, and it's just like yo, I'm in fucking Baltimore, yo, like just like, and now you're talking and now you talk about hustle, loyalty, and respect.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up! Like I've never changed,
now
and I
it's-
never will
now it's
change.
never
You've
give up.
changed twice since you got into the fucking WWE.
Now it's never give up. Because
Yeah.
I think they finally realized that they're telling kids to hustle people.
Right. Well, I just find it laughable how he's like, I've never changed. Yeah, you have, you stupid fuck.
Oh.
Like, and that's the thing. That's what I think it is. I think that's the biggest reason because the biggest reason that Cena has so many haters from the older crowd is because there's no kayfabe anymore.
Right.
Older people remember the Cena from back then, and they look at him now, and they're like,
Dude.
you're a fucking sellout. You changed, and you're a company guy now when you were a rebel back then, and now you're Super Cena and you can't be touched. You're a sellout. Shut the fuck up. That's why a lot of us hate him. But the kids, they don't know that old Cena. All they know is Fruity Pebbles Super Cena. That's what they know. They know bright red shirt, never give up towel that gets thrown out.
Watch WrestleMania 20, they'd be like, "Why is my hero cussing at freaking Big
Right.
Show?" And
Why is he covered in blood?
yeah,
Like
in 2005.
Yeah, like I just and don't get me wrong, I don't hate Cena. I don't. I understand what he is. I love the fact that Cena's been in the business. I don't know where the business would be without Cena. I'm very thankful for everything he's
Like I
done.
said, circumstances.
Seems like a great guy outside the
But
ring.
the thing is
They've tried to get away from Cena many times.
that Cena is Hogan.
Alright.
And that's a huge problem because WWF would have gone under if they would have kept Hogan.
Well,
We're getting to that point now with people like John Cena where it's Adrian Neville and Sami Zayn and people like that are having 5-star matches on a weekly basis in NXT, and we're getting this shit on Raw where we're lucky if we get a full card of matches where I don't have to listen to a Cena diatribe 3 times. He comes out 3 separate times, it seems like, a night. He comes out at the beginning, sometime in the middle he comes out and attacks somebody, and then I have to watch him backstage. I have to watch him backstage in like 2 interviews. Then I have to watch him come out and he has to have like a 30 fucking minute diatribe before they actually start their match.
Yeah.
And it's just fucking...
Last Raw, he came out. He was out there with Seth Rollins and
Yeah, he came out
Jericho
and all that.
and then that match was made, and he came out and had that match. They had the interviews with him beforehand.
yeah.
You know,
Well, my favorite thing is like when they're like, which superstar from this era is going to be the next guy? They're like Ambrose and Rollins and stuff like that. I'm like, whatever happened to Elijah Burke and Marcus Corvon and all those people that are supposed to be the next generation that aren't here anymore because we're still in the Cena generation? I think we'll have 2 or 3 generations. That
Well,
aren't
see,
the
you know
next.
what? In all honesty, though, like, they just weren't good enough. They couldn't
I
hang
used
it.
them as
Well,
an example.
No, they were
there's
supposed
been
to
like
be.
4
But if you look at the
generations
people,
that-
if you look at the people who, like the WWF WWE could have
Mhm.
that they don't have anymore. Like Shelton Benjamin was top flight talent.
Yeah.
Now I know there's this rumors and shit circulating that he might be coming back, all this shit. But like, what's he gonna come back for? Maybe an Intercontinental title run
Right.
again? Like he's not world champion
There's
material
a lot
anymore.
of good ass talented
Yeah.
wrestlers
Yeah.
in 2005.
I mean, they didn't even use the Tough Enough winner.
No.
This last
They
time.
never
any of
used him. They never used any. Maven was the closest anybody got.